A hitman, a promise, and a girl he can't have. Sounds simple until the girl becomes a spy, the promise becomes a lie, and the dead start talking. Welcome to Amy's Romance Stories. If you're new here, comment below where you're watching from, and hit subscribe to join our growing family of mafia romance story lovers. The bullet tears through Davide Greco's shoulder before he even registers the sound. 1 second he's walking away from the Amalfi villa where Raffaella Torino's body is cooling on imported marble. The next he's diving behind a stone wall as 3 more shots crack the night air. His own people. He knows it instantly because only Severin Cade's men carry those custom-suppressed Berettas, and only Severin knew the extraction point. The realization hits harder than the bullet. Davide's been burned. He runs through pain that whites out his vision, through gardens that smell like jasmine and blood, stealing a motorcycle from a startup businessman too shocked to fight back. The coast road blurs beneath him as he climbs into mountains that swallow the stars. His shoulder is screaming. His mind is screaming louder. Severin doesn't make mistakes. If his handler wants him dead, there's a reason Davide hasn't seen coming. The safe house is exactly where he remembers it. A forgotten monastery clinging to cliffs near Matera like a stone prayer nobody answered. Only 3 people in the world knew about this place. Davide, Severin, and Leor Williams, who's been dead for 11 years. The iron gate shrieks when Davide pushes through, his blood leaving a trail across flagstones worn smooth by centuries of monks who believed in salvation. Davide stopped believing in salvation around the same time he stopped counting bodies. Inside smells like decay and time. His boots echo through the entrance hall. He's fishing for the first aid kit he stashed in the chapel when he hears it, the unmistakable sound of a gun being cocked, and a voice that stops his heart. Get up slowly. Hands where I can see them. Davide turns, and there she is, backlit by moonlight through broken stained glass. Ava Williams, Leor's little sister. Except, she's not little anymore. The last time Davide saw this woman, she was 16 years old and sobbing so hard at her brother's funeral she couldn't stand. He'd been the one to catch her when her knees gave out, the one who held her while she soaked his suit with grief. That girl had been all sharp edges and rawness, devastation in a black dress. The woman aiming a Glock at his chest is something else entirely. 27 now, hair darker than he remembers, eyes harder. She's wearing tactical pants and a jacket that's seen use, and the way she holds that weapon, two-handed, balanced, breathing controlled, that's not something you learn from YouTube videos. That's training. Real training. Ava, he says, and hates how his voice roughens on her name. She doesn't lower the gun. Her face is a mask. Don't. Don't say my name like you know me. You knew a child. I'm not her anymore. He wants to argue, but the blood spreading down his arm makes a better point about priorities. I'm not here to hurt you. I didn't know anyone would be here. He pauses, trying to find words that don't make him sound pathetic. I'm in trouble. Something flickers across her expression, too fast to read. Her eyes drop to his shoulder where his jacket is soaked black, then back to his face. The gun doesn't waver, but her breathing changes just slightly. You look worse than I feel, she says, and there's something bitter in it. Something that suggests she's measuring her pain against his, and finding the comparison funny in a way that has nothing to do with humor. The storm hits then, rain suddenly hammering the roof like fists. The mountain road will be impassable within the hour. They both know it. They're trapped here together. Ava's hands shake, just for a second, and then she lowers the weapon. Sit down before you fall down, Greco. If you die bleeding on this floor, I'll be furious about the cleanup. He almost laughs. Almost? Instead, he staggers to a wooden bench that's probably older than Italy's unification and drops onto it hard enough to send pain spiking through every nerve. Ava disappears into the shadows and returns with supplies, medical scissors, antiseptic that's going to hurt worse than the bullet did. She cuts away his jacket and shirt without ceremony. Her hands, when they touch his skin, are steady and clinical, and something about that steadiness breaks his heart in ways he doesn't want to examine. She's done this before, treated gunshot wounds. This woman who should have been safe, should have been normal, should have been anything but this. Now, before I go any further, let me just say, if you're listening to this without subscribing, you're basically telling me my storytelling means nothing to you. That hurts. Right here. She gestures vaguely at where Davide's bleeding. So maybe hit that button? Just a thought. Ava works in silence, cleaning the wound with efficient brutality. The bullet went through, which is good. The damage is manageable, which is better. But every touch sends electricity arcing between them that has nothing to do with pain and everything to do with the 11 years since he last saw her, since he made a promise to her dead brother. "Why are you here?" he finally asks. She doesn't look up from threading a needle. Could ask you the same thing. I asked first, and I have the needle currently going through your skin, so maybe I get to keep my secrets a little longer. Fair point. He watches her face, looking for the girl he remembers. She's in there somewhere, in the set of her jaw, the way her eyebrow furrows when she concentrates. But she's buried under layers of something harder, something that makes Davide's chest ache. "What happened to you, Ava?" Her hands still. Her eyes lift to his and they're full of something dangerous. Life happened. The world happened. You happened. Me? You and my brother and every man like you who thought promises meant something. She goes back to stitching, pulling the thread tighter than strictly necessary. "He made you swear, didn't he?" "Lior." "Before he died." Davide's throat closes. He doesn't want to have this conversation, doesn't want to think about Lior's last night. The blood, the way his best friend had gripped his hand and made him swear. Take care of her. Keep her out of this life. And never. Lior's eyes had been fading but fierce. Never touch her. She's innocent. Keep her that way. He told me, Ava continues, still stitching. In a letter. Left it for me. Said he'd made you promise to protect me and never. Her voice goes sharp. Never let the life touch me. Never touch me, period. Like I was some fragile thing that needed protecting from the big bad world. Like I was breakable. You were 16. I'm not 16 now. She ties off the stitch with enough force that he flinches. And the life touched me anyway. Turns out promises don't mean much against reality. She stands abruptly, putting distance between them, and David can breathe again. She moves to the broken window, looking out at rain that's turning the courtyard into a lake. Lightning cracks the sky, illuminating her profile, and Davide has the sudden terrible thought that she's beautiful, that somewhere between the funeral and now she became devastating, and he has no right to notice. "I disappeared 3 years ago," Ava says to the storm. "My family thinks I'm dead. Easier that way. Cleaner." "Why?" She laughs, and it's the saddest sound he's ever heard. "Because I'm running from the same world that took my brother. Because I got tired of being protected." Because she turns to face him and her eyes are blazing. Because I decided if the life was going to touch me anyway, I might as well touch back. What does that mean? It means I've spent 3 years living under fake names in 8 different countries. It means I know how to strip a weapon and forge documents and disappear when people come looking. It means your little promise to Lior. She gestures between them, already broken. I broke it the minute I stopped being innocent. The words hang in the air between them, charged with everything they're not saying. Davide should leave this alone, should keep his distance, should honor the one decent thing he promised to do in a life full of broken vows and blood money. Instead, he asks, "What are you running from?" Ava pulls out a burner phone, checks it, and her expression goes carefully blank. She deletes whatever she saw and pockets it again. That, Greco, is a longer story than one night can hold. We might have more than one night. That storm isn't stopping. She studies him for a long moment, then moves to a cabinet and produces a bottle of whiskey that's probably been here since Lior first found this place. She takes a drink straight from the bottle, doesn't even flinch, then offers it to him. To being trapped, she says. To broken promises, he counters, and drinks. The whiskey burns all the way down. They pass the bottle back and forth while the storm rages and Davide's shoulder throbs, and the space between them fills with ghosts. Lior's ghost most of all. Davide can almost see him, standing in the corner with that half-smile he used to get when he knew something you didn't. Did he suffer? Ava asks suddenly, quietly. When he died? Did it hurt? Davide considers lying. Considers all the comfortable words people use to soften death. Then he looks at this woman who field dresses gunshot wounds and lives under aliases, and decides she deserves the truth. Yes, it hurt. But it was fast. She nods like she expected this. Takes another drink. I used to imagine it, you know. How it happened. Who pulled the trigger? Why? It was supposed to be a simple extraction. Wrong place. Wrong time. Bad luck. Ava's laugh is sharp enough to cut. You actually believe that? That my brother, Lior Williams, who planned everything 3 moves ahead, just had bad luck? What else would it be? She turns to face him fully, and there's something in her expression that makes his stomach drop. This is the interactive part of our story, friends. What do you think? Was Lior's death really just bad luck, or was there something darker happening? Drop your theories in the comments because trust me, you're going to want to remember this moment. Davide, Ava says slowly, Lior didn't die because of bad luck. He died because he was investigating something. Something big enough that someone wanted him silenced. The world tilts. What are you talking about? 3 years ago, I was contacted by someone who knew Lior, who told me my brother had been building a case against a human trafficking network operating across southern Europe. He was close, Davide, close to identifying who ran it, and then, suddenly, he's dead in what everyone calls a tragic accident during a routine job. You think he was killed? Deliberately. I don't think. I know. Ava's voice is steel, and I've spent the last 3 years trying to finish what he started. Trying to find out who runs the network, who ordered my brother's death. Davide's mind is racing, reshuffling 11 years of memories, looking for cracks, for signs he missed. Who contacted you? Who told you this? An Interpol agent named Thessaly Verne. She recruited me, trained me, sent me undercover to gather evidence. That stops him cold. You're undercover? You're working for Interpol? Was working. Past tense. Ava's face is hard. I've been in deep cover for 2 years. But 3 weeks ago, I found something. A connection I wasn't supposed to find. What connection? She meets his eyes and he sees fear there. Real fear. For the first time. Severin Cade. Your handler. Davide. I think Severin is involved in the network. Maybe even running it. And I think, her voice drops to a whisper, I think he's the one who killed Lior. The bottle slips from Davide's hand, doesn't break, but spills whiskey across ancient stone. No, that's not. Severin wouldn't. Wouldn't he? How well do you actually know him? How many jobs has he sent you on where you didn't ask questions about the target? How many times have you cleaned up problems without knowing what the problems were? Davide's on his feet, ignoring the pain screaming through his shoulder. His whole body is shaking. I've worked for Severin for 10 years. Since right after Lior died. He took me in when I had nothing. Convenient timing, don't you think? Stop. Davide, why do you think Severin's men ambushed you tonight? Why would he burn his most reliable operative unless you were becoming a liability? The room is spinning. Davide's life, his entire life for the past decade, built on a foundation that's crumbling under his feet. Every job, every target, every time he pulled the trigger thinking he was, what, balancing some cosmic scale, when maybe he was just. He puts his fist through the wall. Pain explodes across his knuckles. Ava's there instantly, grabbing his wrist, and her touch grounds him, pulls him back from the edge. I'm sorry, she says, and means it. I'm sorry to do this to you. But you needed to know, if what you're saying is true, if Severin killed Lior, if I've been working for my best friend's murderer for 10 years, then, his voice breaks, then what does that make me? It makes you a victim too. Her hands are still on his wrist, his hand bleeding now to match his shoulder. It makes you someone who was used. Like me. Like everyone else Severin has destroyed. They're standing too close. David can see gold flecks in her eyes he never noticed before. Can smell her shampoo. Something clean and simple that doesn't belong in this world of blood and lies. Can feel heat radiating off her skin. This is wrong. This is everything Lior made him swear never to do. This woman is supposed to be protected, kept safe, kept separate from men like Davide who have death in their hands and emptiness where their souls should be. But Ava's not backing away. Ava's leaning closer, her eyes dropping to his mouth, and Davide realizes with stunning clarity that she's just as lost as he is, just as broken, just as desperate for something real in a world made of lies. Ava, he starts. Don't, she cuts him off. Don't say whatever noble thing you're about to say. Don't tell me about promises or propriety or protecting me. I'm so tired of being protected, Davide. I'm so tired of being alone. You're not alone, aren't I? Everyone I've loved is dead or gone. I've spent 3 years lying about who I am. 3 years surrounded by criminals and killers, pretending to be one of them. 3 years unable to trust anyone, unable to let anyone close. And now you're here. And you're... She pauses, searching for words. You're the only person in the world who knew him like I did, who loved him like I did, who's carrying the same ghost. That's exactly why we can't. Can't what? She's close enough that he can feel her breath. Can't want each other? Too late. Can't break a promise to a dead man? His promises didn't save either of us. Can't cross a line? Davide, I've crossed so many lines I don't even know where they were anymore. He should step back. Should put distance between them. Should do literally anything except what he does, which is cup her face with his non-bleeding hand and commit the cardinal sin of noticing how perfectly she fits against his palm. If we do this, he says roughly, there's no going back. No pretending. No undoing it. Good. Ava breathes. I'm done with going back. And okay. Real talk for a second. If you're still not subscribed, if you're listening to Davide and Ava about to cross every line imaginable, and you can't even cross the line to hit that subscribe button, what are we even doing here? Show me you're invested in this story. Show me you care what happens next. Because it's about to get so much more complicated. The kiss, when it happens, is nothing like gentle. It's 11 years of grief and 3 years of lies and 10 years of blood money all colliding. It's desperate and fierce and tastes like whiskey and regret. Ava's hands fist in his shirt, careful of his wounded shoulder, and Davide's control, the iron control he's maintained for over a decade, just shatters. They break apart, both breathing hard. Ava's eyes are wide, pupils blown, lips already swelling. That was, she starts. A mistake. Davide finishes but doesn't let go of her. Probably, she agrees, but doesn't step away. Lior would kill me. Lior's dead. And maybe, her voice hardens, maybe the dead don't get to control the living anymore. She's right. She's absolutely right. And it's that truth, that simple, devastating truth, that makes Davide kiss her again. Makes him forget every promise except the one he's making right now. In this moment, to this woman who's as damaged and dangerous as he is. They end up against the wall, then sliding down it, tangled together on cold stone that's probably blessed and definitely doesn't deserve to witness this particular sin. Ava's hands are everywhere, learning the map of his scars, the places he's been broken and badly repaired. His hands are relearning her, the girl from the funeral, now a woman who moves like a fighter, who kisses like she's trying to prove something. Wait! She gasps against his mouth. Wait! Davide pulls back immediately, giving her space. Too much? No. Not enough. But, she's searching his face. I need you to know something first. Before this goes further. Before she gestures between them. I need you to know I haven't been completely honest with you. About what? About why I'm here, at this specific safe house, tonight. Davide's blood goes cold. His training, the survival instincts that have kept him alive through 24 impossible situations, they're all screaming suddenly. What do you mean? Before she can answer, her burner phone rings. The sound is obscenely loud in the quiet monastery. Ava closes her eyes like she's praying, then pulls out the phone. Don't answer it, Davide says. I have to. She looks at him, and there are tears on her face now. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She answers and puts it on speaker. A woman's voice, crisp and professional with a British accent, fills the space between them. Status report. Do you have Greco secured? Davide's world stops. Just stops. Ava's crying openly now, looking at him with something like anguish. And he understands. He finally understands. Yes, Ava says to the phone, voice steady despite the tears. He's here. But Verna, I can't do what you're asking. Agent Williams. The woman. Verna, says sharply. You were sent to secure the asset and bring him in for debriefing. Your personal feelings are irrelevant. He's not an asset. Ava's voice breaks. He's a person. And I'm done. I'm done lying. I'm done manipulating. I'm done. She hangs up. The silence is deafening. David is on his feet. Pain forgotten. Betrayal flooding through him like poison. This was a setup. You. This whole thing. You were sent to. To find you, Ava cuts him off. Standing to face him. To gain your trust. To bring you in as a witness against Severin. You've worked inside his organization for 10 years, Davide. You're the key to bringing down the entire network. Interpol needed you cooperative, not hostile. So they sent me. Because they knew. Her voice cracks. They knew you'd have a weakness for Lior's little sister. Everything. Everything between them. Every word, every touch, every moment of connection. All calculated. All part of a mission. Was any of it real? He asks. And his voice is dead? Was fucking me part of the operation too? She flinches like he's hit her. No. God, no. I was supposed to gain your trust. Bring you in, that's all. But what just happened? What's been happening? That's not the mission. That's me breaking every protocol I have. That's me. She's sobbing now. That's me being weak and selfish and human. How do I believe you? You don't. You can't. But Davide, I just burned my entire operation for you. I just told my handler my entire career to go to hell. So believe that. Why? Why would you do that? Because she's close to him again. hands reaching for him even though he's radiating fury, because somewhere in the last 6 days I stopped being Agent Williams on a mission and started being just Ava, terrified and alone and falling for a man I was supposed to be using. Because you looked at me like I mattered, not like I was a tool or a target or someone's little sister to be protected. You looked at me like I was real. Davide wants to push her away, wants to walk out into the storm and never look back, wants to feel nothing. But he's so tired of feeling nothing. And if you're not subscribed by now, after all this drama, after all this betrayal and broken promises and desperate confessions, I genuinely don't know what to tell you. We're pouring our hearts out here and you can't even click a button? Really? Anyway, before you all come at me in the comments, before you judge Davide for what he's about to do, remember, he's been used his entire life. By Severin, maybe by Lior, definitely by Interpol, and now, by Ava. Trust is a currency he can't afford. But then again, maybe trust is all any of us have in the end. Davide looks at this woman, really looks at her, sees the tears, yes, but also sees the set of her shoulders, the way she's not making excuses, not begging, just standing in her truth, ugly as it is. How long? He asks quietly. Have you actually been an agent? 2 years undercover. 3 years total since recruitment. And before that? I was nobody. I was Lior's little sister, living a quiet life in England, teaching primary school. Then Thessaly Verne showed up at my door and told me my brother was murdered. Told me I could help catch his killers. So I said yes. They recruited you for revenge. They recruited me because I had access and motivation and nothing left to lose. Ava wipes her eyes. Everything I told you about the investigation, about Severin, that's all true. I've been gathering evidence for 2 years. You were... She pauses. You were the final piece. The insider who could confirm everything. Why didn't they just approach me directly? Because they weren't sure which side you were on. Whether you were Severin's victim or his partner. And now? Now I've destroyed any chance of bringing you in peacefully. Now Verne will send a team, and they won't be gentle. Now we're both burned. We, Davide repeats. If you'll have me. If you don't hate me. If. Her voice is very small. If there's any chance you believe that my feelings are real, even if my reasons for being here weren't. He should say no. Should absolutely say no. Your handler, this Verne, will she come for us? Probably. We have maybe 12 hours before she mobilizes. And Severin? Still looking for you. For us now, probably. So we're trapped between Interpol and a trafficking kingpin who wants us dead. Ava almost smiles. Looks like it. David runs his hand through his hair, immediately regrets it when pain shoots through his shoulder. This is insane. This is the stupidest thing I've ever considered. And I've considered a lot of stupid things. Is that a yes? It's a... He looks at her. At this woman who's a liar and a spy. And possibly the only honest thing in his life right now. It's a... Maybe we're both too broken to make good decisions. So we might as well make bad ones together. Most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me, Ava deadpans. And despite everything, despite the betrayal and the pain and the impossible situation, Davide laughs. Actually laughs. It's a broken sound, but it's real. Okay, he says. Okay, we run together. We figure this out together. But Ava, if you lie to me again. I won't. No more lies. No more missions. Just, she takes his hand. The one that's bleeding from punching the wall. Just us trying not to die. Solid plan, he says dryly. I'm still working on the details. Clearly. They're both quiet for a moment. The weight of what they're choosing settling over them. Then Davide pulls her close, careful of his shoulder, and she comes willingly, tucking her head under his chin. For what it's worth, She whispers against his chest. I really am sorry. For all of it. For which part? The lying or the falling? Both. Neither. She pulls back to look at him. I'm sorry I wasn't honest from the start. But I'm not sorry I met you. I'm not sorry for this. Good, Davide says, and kisses her again, softer this time, like maybe they have time. Like maybe the world isn't actively trying to kill them. They don't sleep that night. Instead, they plan. They strategize. They prepare for the dozen different ways tomorrow could go wrong. And somewhere between checking weapons and mapping escape routes, between rationing supplies and encrypting communications, David realizes that for the first time in 11 years, he's not alone. It's terrifying. It's also the closest thing to hope he's felt in longer than he can remember. Outside, the storm breaks. Inside, something else is just beginning. Day 6 in the monastery, and the silence outside is worse than the storm was. David stands at the window watching the road, waiting for either Interpol or Severin's kill team, whoever gets there first. Ava's behind him, cleaning weapons with the kind of methodical precision that speaks to muscle memory. They've said everything there is to say. Now it's just waiting. Except the waiting ends with a sound that doesn't belong. Not vehicles, footsteps, single person. Coming from inside the monastery, from the direction of the catacombs. Davide's weapon is up instantly. Ava's already moving to flank position. They've cleared this building 3 times. There's no one else here. There can't be. The footsteps get closer. Slow. Uneven. A limp, maybe. Davide's finger tightens on the trigger as a shadow separates from the darkness of the corridor leading to the catacombs beneath them. You always did have good instincts, Greco, a voice says from the shadows, accented, achingly familiar in a way that makes Davide's entire body go cold. Shame they didn't save you from walking right into this. The figure steps into the light and the world stops making sense. Older. Face carved with scars that weren't there before, moving with a pronounced limp. But the eyes, the set of the jaw, the way he stands even injured, David would know him anywhere. Lear Williams. Alive. Ava's weapon hits the floor with a clatter. The sound she makes is inhuman, something between a sob and a scream. No. No. You're dead. I buried you. I mourned you for 11 years. Lior's expression softens, just for a moment, looking at his sister. I know, Sorelina. I'm sorry. But I needed the world to think I was gone. Davide hasn't lowered his weapon. His hands are steady even though his mind is fragmenting. Why? Just why? Because I couldn't build what I needed to build with people watching. Lior takes another step into the room and Davide notices details now. Expensive clothes under the dust. Custom boots. A watch that costs more than Davide used to make in a year. This isn't a man who's been hiding. This is a man who's been thriving. I needed to disappear. Needed to be declared dead. Needed. His eyes move between them. Needed both of you to believe it too. Ava's shaking her head, tears streaming down her face. She takes a step toward her brother, hands reaching. Lior. Oh God, Lior, I thought. All this time I thought you were murdered. I've been trying to find your killers. I've been trying to finish what you started. Lior's smile is sad. I know. I've been watching. You've been. Ava stops. Goes very still. You've been watching. You knew I was looking for you. I left you clues, didn't I? The letter. The safe house location. I knew eventually you'd come searching. Better to control how you searched than let you stumble onto truth accidentally. Davide's weapon is still trained on Lior because his instincts are screaming and he learned a long time ago to trust them. What truth? He asks quietly. What truth were you so afraid of her finding? Lior's eyes move to Davide and there's something in them now. Something cold. You know, I actually hoped you'd keep the promise. The one you made me. Never touch her, Davide. That was the deal. A lot of deals got broken, Davide says flatly, starting with you being dead. Fair point. Lior's hand moves and Davide nearly shoots him before realizing he's just pulling out a chair, sitting down with a wince that suggests old injuries. I suppose I owe you both an explanation. You suppose? Ava's voice is hollow. You let me grieve you. You let me destroy my entire life trying to avenge you. And you suppose you owe me an explanation? What life did you destroy, little sister? You were teaching children their alphabet. You were living in our dead parents' house, dating men who bored you, pretending to be normal. I set you free. Set me free? Ava's laugh is jagged. You broke me. You let me think the person I loved most in the world was murdered. Do you have any idea what that did to me? It made you strong. Lior's voice is matter of fact. Look at you now. Interpol agent, undercover operative. You're more than I ever could have imagined. How do you know about Interpol? Davide cuts in. How do you know what Ava's been doing unless the pieces are clicking together in his mind, horrible pieces forming a horrible picture, unless you've been tracking her investigation? Which means you know about the trafficking network. Which means I know because it's mine. Lior finishes calmly. The network, the operation, all of it. I built it. And before you get righteous, understand that I built it from nothing into something that moves more money in a month than you'll see in your lifetime. The world tilts. Davide's heard wrong. He must have heard wrong. You're saying you run a human trafficking network. I'm saying I run the most sophisticated criminal enterprise in Southern Europe. Trafficking is just one revenue stream. Ava makes it sound like she's been gutted. No. No, you're lying. You were investigating trafficking. You were building a case. That's why they killed you. Nobody killed me, Sorelina. I killed myself. Faked the hit, staged the body, walked away. Because I needed to disappear to build this empire. The person I spoke to, Ava's grasping, desperate Thessaly Verne. She told me you were murdered. She showed me evidence. Verna showed you what I wanted her to find. Lior stands again, starts pacing. You think Interpol found you by accident? You think they recruited Lior Williams's little sister out of the goodness of their hearts? I made sure they found you, Ava. I made sure they pointed you in directions that would never actually lead to me. And when you started getting too close to things I didn't want you finding, I adjusted the breadcrumbs. This is the moment, isn't it? This is where you're either completely hooked or you're not. And if you're listening to this, if you're here for this revelation and you haven't subscribed yet, I need you to understand something. These stories take everything to create. The plot twists, the emotional beats, the hours of writing. And your subscription, it's literally the least you can do to say this matters. So maybe do it? Maybe show up for the story the way the story shows up for you? Davide's mind is racing through 11 years of memories, recontextualizing everything. The job that killed Lior. The convenient way Severin had taken Davide in right after. The decade of work Davide's done, the targets he's eliminated. How many of them were people who got too close to Lior's operation? How many times have I killed for you? Davide asks. How many of my jobs were cleaning up your problems? Most of them. Lior shrugs. You were always good at the work, Davide. Efficient. Didn't ask questions. Perfect weapon. Severin, Davide's voice is dangerous. Where does he fit? Severin's my lieutenant, has been from the beginning. He manages operations, handles recruitment, keeps the machinery running. When I needed someone to watch over you, make sure you stayed useful and uninformed, Severin volunteered. So when he burned me in Amalfi, I ordered it. Lior's voice is calm, almost apologetic. You were getting sloppy. starting to ask questions. And then Ava made contact with you in Florence. I knew it was only a matter of time before you two compared notes and started seeing patterns I'd rather keep hidden. You set us up, Ava breathes. You maneuvered us both here. I gave you both an out, Lior corrects. This safe house. Neutral ground. I was hoping. His eyes move between them. I was hoping I could talk sense into you both. Bring you into the fold properly. But then you had to go and break the promise, Davide. You had to touch her. She's not yours to control, David says. She's my sister. She's a person. And you don't get to decide her life. Don't I? Lior's smile is cold now. I decided her life when I faked my death. When I pushed her into Interpol's arms. When I led her on a 3-year investigation that would never actually succeed. I've been deciding both your lives for over a decade. Here's a question for all of you listening. What would you do if someone you loved, someone you mourned, came back and turned out to be a monster? Could you pull the trigger? Could you end them? Think about it. Because that's exactly where we are. Ava's picked up her weapon again. Her hands aren't shaking anymore. They're steady. Dead steady. You let me cry over your grave. I know. You let me think you were a hero. I never claimed to be a hero. Little sister. You made me into one after I was gone. That's not my fault. You destroyed me. I remade you. Look at yourself. You're not that scared little girl anymore. You're a weapon. Just like David. Just like me. We're the same now. We are nothing alike. Ava's voice is ice. You're a slaver. You traffic human beings. You're everything Mama and Papa would have been ashamed of. For the first time, emotion cracks through Lior's facade. Don't you dare speak for them. They died poor and powerless and forgotten. I made our name mean something. You made our name mean suffering. I made our name mean power. And I'm offering you a chance to share it. Both of you. Lior looks between them. Join me. Work with me. Together we could be unstoppable. Davide, you're wasted on small jobs. Ava, you're wasted on playing cop. We could have everything. Davide's answer is to adjust his aim directly at Lior's heart. We're not interested. Lior sighs. I was afraid you'd say that, which is unfortunate, because family shouldn't have to die. But if you force my hand, your hand, Ava cuts him off, has been forced since the moment you chose this life, since the moment you decided money mattered more than people. You forced your own hand, Lior. Then I suppose we're at an impasse. Lior's hand moves to his own weapon. I walk out of here and you both die. Either Severin's team finds you or Interpol locks you up. Either way, you're finished. Or, he pauses, or you die here. Quick. Merciful. Family taking care of family. Footsteps echo from above. Multiple people. Moving fast. Severin's team, must be. They've found the monastery. Lior smiles. Perfect timing. He raises his voice slightly. Down here. Catacombs entrance. I have them cornered. You're calling them to us, Davide says. I'm ending a problem. Lior's weapon is out now. I did love you both. For whatever that's worth. It's worth nothing, Ava says, and fires. The shot takes Lior in the shoulder, spins him. He returns fire and the catacomb entrance erupts in chaos. Davide's shooting. Ava's moving. Lior's backing toward the tunnels and there are men pouring down the stairs above them. Severin's team, 4 of them, automatic weapons. Davide grabs Ava and they're running into the catacombs, into darkness lit by muzzle flashes. Behind them, Lior's shouting orders. Hunt them down. No survivors. The tunnels are a maze, centuries old, carved into rock. Davide and Ava know them better than Lior's men do. They've spent 6 days exploring every passage. They use that now, leading the hunters on, then doubling back, taking them out one by one. It's brutal close-quarters combat in the dark. Davide takes a knife to the ribs. Ava breaks her wrist, slamming someone's head into stone. But they're winning. Until they hit the dead end. The final chamber of the catacombs. No other exits. Just bones and walls and silence and the sound of footsteps catching up. Ava's trying her burner phone. No signal this deep. We're trapped. Then we make our stand here, Davide says. They take position behind a stone sarcophagus. 2 weapons between them, maybe 10 rounds left. And the footsteps getting closer. But it's not Severin's men who round the corner. It's Lior. Alone. Limping worse now, blood spreading across his shoulder from Ava's shot. But alive and armed. Just us now, he says. The way it should be. Family business. This isn't business, Ava says. This is murder. Semantics. Lior's weapon is trained on them. I mean it about being sorry. You were never supposed to be part of this, Ava. You were supposed to stay innocent. Stay clean. That was the whole point of my promise to Davide. Your promise was a cage, Ava says, and I'm done being caged. Then I suppose this is goodbye. Lior's finger tightens on the trigger. The explosion above shakes the entire catacomb system. Dust and rock rain down. Everyone freezes. What the hell was that? Lior mutters. Another explosion. Closer. The monastery above them is being demolished. Someone's bringing the whole structure down. Severin, Davide realizes. He's destroying the evidence. Burying everything. Including us, Ava adds. The ceiling cracks. A chunk of stone the size of a person crashes down between them and Lior. More are following. The catacombs are collapsing. There's another way out. Davide shouts over the chaos. Coastal tunnel. Lior, you know it. Why would I tell you that? Lior shouts back, when we can all die together. Because you're not a monster who wants to murder his sister, Davide gambles. Because some part of you still loves her. The ceiling is coming down faster. In seconds they'll be crushed. Lior looks at Ava. Really looks at her. And something in his face breaks. East wall. 3rd skeleton from the left. Pull the skull. Ava moves, yanks a skull from the catacomb wall. A section of stone grinds open, revealing a passage. She looks back at her brother. Come with us. Can't, Sorelina. My leg, I wouldn't make it. And besides, he smiles sadly. Some of us deserve to be buried. Lior. Ava's crying again. Go. Live. Be better than me. He looks at Davide. Keep the promise this time. Keep her alive. Already planning on it, Davide says. He pulls Ava into the passage as the ceiling collapses. The last thing they see is Lior, standing in the chamber as rock and earth bury him, still smiling. The coastal tunnel is narrow, dark, endless. They run through rising water and falling stone. Ava's sobbing as she runs. Davide's ribs are screaming, but they don't stop. Can't stop. They burst out onto a rocky beach as the sun rises over the Adriatic. Behind them, the monastery collapses entirely, a pillar of dust rising into pink sky. Everything buried. Lior, Severin's men, the evidence, all of it gone. Ava collapses onto the sand. Davide drops beside her. They're both bleeding, both broken, both alive. I killed him, Ava whispers. My brother. I shot my brother. You defended yourself against a monster who wore your brother's face, Davide says gently. The real Lior, the one worth loving. He died 11 years ago. How do you know? Because the Lior I knew would never have built an empire on human suffering. Would never have manipulated the people he loved. The man in those catacombs, that wasn't your brother. That was what was left after your brother died. Ava's quiet for a long time. Then, do you think he suffered? At the end? Davide considers lying. then decides she deserves truth. I don't know. Maybe. But he chose it. He could have run with us. Why didn't he? Because, David pulls her close, some people are so broken they can't imagine healing. They'd rather die than change. Before either can say more, they hear it. A boat engine, coming closer. Davide's reaching for a weapon he doesn't have when a voice calls out, Greco, Williams. Stand down. A boat pulls up to the beach. A woman steps off, 50s, gray hair in a practical cut, eyes that miss nothing. She's wearing Interpol credentials. Thessaly Verne, Ava breathes. The woman surveys them, then the smoking ruins of the monastery. Leor Williams? Dead, Davide says flatly. Buried under that. Verne's expression doesn't change. And Severin Cade? Unknown. Possibly buried as well. Convenient. Verne crouches to their level. We have Cade in custody, actually. Picked him up 2 hours ago. He's talking, giving up the entire network to save himself. Turns out when you tell a lieutenant his boss died and left him holding the bag, he gets cooperative. So it's over, Ava says. The trafficking network is dismantling as we speak. 43 arrests so far. More coming. Verne's eyes soften slightly. You did good work, Williams. Both of you. I broke protocol, Ava says. I compromised the mission. You got results. That's what matters. Verne stands. Now we have a problem. Davide Greco, you're wanted for murder in 6 countries. 7? Davide corrects. Charming. Verne pulls out a folder. However, according to my report, you died in that monastery, killed by Leor Williams while protecting my operative during an undercover operation gone wrong. I'm dead. Officially. Verne hands him a passport. New name. New life. Don't waste it. And Ava? Verne looks at her. You're done with us. What you've been through, what you've seen, you've earned your exit. Her voice goes gentle. Go heal, Agent Williams. Go be someone who isn't defined by what was taken from them. I don't know how to do that, Ava whispers. Figure it out. You've got time. Verne heads back to the boat, then pauses. One more thing. We found evidence in Cade's files. Your parents, Williams. Their accident 11 years ago. What about it? Wasn't an accident. Leor had them killed. Needed their life insurance to seed his initial capital. Okay, real talk. If you've stuck with this story through all the betrayal and death and revelation, and you still haven't hit subscribe, I'm genuinely baffled. What are you waiting for? An engraved invitation? We just revealed that Leor killed his own parents. The drama is maximum. The story is peak. Your subscription costs nothing. Do the thing. Ava doesn't react. Just stares at the water. Of course he did. Of course. I'm sorry, Verna says, and means it. Then she's gone, boat disappearing across the water. They sit in silence as the sun climbs higher. 2 people who've lost everything, who've killed the ghosts they've been carrying, who are officially dead to the world. What now? Ava finally asks. Davide looks at the passport Verne gave him. New name, Daniel Rossi. He almost laughs. Now we disappear. To where? Anywhere. Nowhere. Somewhere neither of us has ever been. Ava's quiet. Then I don't know who I am without the mission. Without. She gestures at the ruins. Without him. I've spent 11 years being Leor's sister, his mourner, his avenger. 3 years being Agent Williams. Who am I if I'm not those things? Guess we find out together, Davide says. I've spent 10 years being Severin's weapon, being Leor's pawn. Maybe it's time we both figure out who we are when we're not being used. Scary thought. Terrifying. But he takes her hand. Better than being alone. Is this the part where we ride off into the sunset? Live happily ever after? Davide snorts. This is the part where we run from international law enforcement and remnants of a criminal empire, probably get into 6 more impossible situations, and might die horribly at any moment. Romantic. I try. Ava leans against him. Her wrist is swelling badly. His ribs might be cracked. They're covered in blood and dust and grief. Okay. Okay, let's do it. Let's disappear. Let's. She pauses. Let's build something that's ours, not Lior's, not the mission's, ours. What do you want to build? I don't know yet. Something good, maybe. Something that actually helps people instead of using them. Redemption arc, Davide muses. Could work, could fail spectacularly. Probably will. But he kisses the top of her head. At least we'll fail together. Second question for you all. Do you think they can actually escape this life? Build something clean from such a bloody foundation? Or is the past always going to catch them? Let me know what you think because honestly, their future is as uncertain as it gets. They sit there until the sun is fully up, until the adrenaline fades and exhaustion takes its place. Then Ava stands, offers Davide her good hand. Come on, we need to move before someone else comes looking. Where to? There's a village about 10 kilometers south. We can steal a car, get cleaned up, figure out next steps. Look at you, planning our life of crime. Pretty sure we're past the point of moral high ground, Greco. Fair point, Rossi, he says, using his new name. She smiles. It's small and broken, but real. Rossi. I like it. Fresh start. What's your new name? Haven't looked yet. She pulls out the passport Verney left her. Opens it. Aria Marinos. Huh. Aria and Daniel. Sounds almost normal. We are anything but normal. True. But maybe we can pretend for a while. They start walking, following the coastline away from the ruins. 2 ghosts who chose life, 2 weapons who chose to put themselves down. 2 broken people who found each other in the wreckage and decided that was enough. Behind them, smoke still rises from the monastery. Lior's tomb, their past. Everything that made them who they were. Ahead, the coastal road winds into unknown territory. New names, new lives, new chances to fail or succeed on their own terms. Ava, Aria now, speaks without looking at him. Do you think he was right? Lior, that we're the same as him. Weapons who only know how to destroy. No, Davide. Daniel says firmly. We're different in one crucial way. What's that? We chose to stop. He never would have. She considers this, takes his hand as they walk. You know this probably won't work. Us. We're too damaged. Too dangerous. Too. She searches for words. Too everything. Probably. But I've spent 10 years doing what other people told me was smart and safe and right. Look where that got me. Maybe it's time to do something stupid. Falling for your dead best friend's sister while running from the law is definitely stupid. So we're agreed. Completely. They walk in comfortable silence for a while. The sun is warm. The sea air tastes like salt and possibility. For the first time in longer than either can remember, the future feels open instead of predetermined. Final guilt trip, I promise. If this story meant anything to you, if you felt the weight of their choices, the pain of their losses, the hope of their future, subscribe, share it, let other people find it. Stories live when people care about them. So care. Okay. Guilt trip over. A kilometer down the beach, Arya stops, turns to face the ruins one last time. Goodbye, Lior, she whispers. I hope you found whatever you were looking for. I hope it was worth it. Daniel stands beside her, says nothing. Just stands witness as she releases the ghost she's carried for 11 years. Then she turns away from the past and toward the future. Shall we? After you. They walk until the monastery is out of sight. Walk until they find the village. steal a car like professionals, drive north with no destination in mind, just away, just together, just free. 6 months later, in a small apartment in Prague, Arya teaches English to refugee children. Daniel works construction, building instead of destroying for the first time in his life. They're nobody special, nobody dangerous. Just two people with quiet lives and secrets they'll never tell. Some nights, Arya wakes up crying, haunted by the brother she killed. Daniel holds her until the grief passes. Some nights, Daniel wakes up swinging, back in the catacombs. Arya talks him down until he remembers where he is. They're not healed. Maybe they never will be. But they're healing. Slowly. Together. And that, they decide, is enough. The past is buried under Italian stone. The future is uncertain. But the present, the now, this moment of choosing each other day after day, that's theirs. Nobody can take that away. Not even ghosts. So there you have it. The story of two people who loved the same ghost and found each other in his shadow. Who chose life after death? Who proved that even broken promises can lead somewhere worth going? If this story stuck with you, if it made you feel something, don't just move on to the next video. Subscribe. Be part of this community. Let's tell more stories like this together. Thanks for listening. Until next time, remember, the best revenge against those who tried to bury you is refusing to stay dead. Now go live your life like you mean it.